we talk, it'll just be like.
Okay, you can go ahead and start.
Okay. Can you start with your name?
Bonita Irwin. I'm secretary of the Wheat Alumni Association.
Okay, and so you were in the wheat community before K-25 came?
I was born in the wheat community.
Oh, wonderful. Can you tell me about what you remember being a child in the wheat community?
Oh, children got together a lot, neighbors, and we'd have these games there was East Fork Creek ran close to our house, and our neighbors would all meet, and we'd meet down at the swimming hole.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Our neighbors was real good. We loved everyone. I mean, if one was in trouble, they had help. Everybody went in to help them.
It was a great community.
It was a great community. It was a model community. Fact is, we got recognized from New York Times. They wrote about the accomplishments of our community, wheat community.
And what did it say?
It said that people that live like the ones lived in the wheat community not only talked, but they acted on problems,
Yeah. What was it like to be in that kind of community, that kind of environment?
Mm-hmm. Wheat was a farming community, and we raised there about everything. We didn't have to go to the store very often. Just like for sugar, coffee, kerosene for our lamps.
Yeah.
We didn't have electricity at that time, and it was. I can't understand. We always had a full table of food 3 times a day, and if you work on a farm, you have to do that. You have to. But my dad, we got up around 4:30 of the morning, and he would want to be in the field almost by the time it come daylight.
Wow.
But,
so you guys had a farm on your land?
Mm-hmm.
What did you grow?
We grew corn mostly, and hay, for cattle. And we had our meat of all kinds, our beef, chickens, and pork of all kinds.
So you had all of that on your farm as well? You had cows and...
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And can you describe for me what the family life was like there?
Family life was good. After I got to the age of sports, I had a brother and 2 sisters, and we all loved sports. So we was in the sports program, and our parents backed us too. I don't think I played a ball game that my dad wasn't there if he could get there at all. And of course, I lost my mother when I was 14, so and she loved it just as well as he did.
You want to tell me about some of your memories back about the community and living there? And
well, like I said, you could go in to the neighbor's home anytime and feel welcome, and we just look forward to church and school. Now, wheat got its name from the first post office. Poplar Creek Seminary was a forerunner of Roane College. And I suppose everyone knows that we did have a college in the community.
Oh, I didn't know.
It was Roane College, and that's where Roane State got its name.
Oh.
We had Poplar Creek Seminary first. That was in 1877. And then Roane College, when they knew that there was so many that had moved into the community, and they had heard of the school being a real good school, and we had to build dormitories. I think you'll see the picture of some of them. And the women's dormitory was right close to the school. The men's dormitory was about, I guess, a fourth of a mile from school. But we had students that came from out of state because it was a good school.
Did you attend that school?
From the first grade, from the primer on through 12. Yes, I did.
And what was it like to be there?
In school?
Mm-hmm.
With our friends?
Yeah.
Oh, it was good. It was good. We had good teachers. Good. They were strict. We couldn't. Of today, you see the children, I guess, closer than we was because we wasn't hardly. We wasn't supposed to write notes even. We could speak to the boys, you know, and but we slipped a note every once in a while. There's one girl. There's one girl that got a note from a boy, and the teacher, study hall teacher, saw it. Well, she was going to take it away from her. And this girl ate that note. We had good sport. We had sports of all kinds: volleyball, basketball, football, champions. The year I was a senior, we went to the regional tournament. We lost our first game, but we went to the regional tournament anyhow. And our boys, it was a 6-man team. I doubt if you've ever seen one, but a lot of these smaller schools went 6-man, and they won the championship. Our school did. We was proud of them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And then the wheat community got displaced when K-25 came in and
the Manhattan Project.
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened when that?
Well, they didn't give us any time to pack up and get out hardly. They was, I've understood, now I don't know of any certain family, but I have understood, I've heard it all these years, that they burned barns before they could get their hay out. And they tore down some mighty good houses. Wheat was it had some beautiful homes there. It wasn't thickly populated, but it was enough.
Yeah, it sounds like the community had come together so well.
Mm-hmm. Well, the college had over 200 students. Of course, they came from out of state, too.
Yeah.
And Reverend George Jones gave over 200 acres of land for the churches and schools and for the community. And he'd give, if they would want to build a house on any of that, they was supposed to let a student board with or stay with them, really, because the board didn't amount to very much. And that was one of the requirements that he had, that they, if someone wanted a place to stay to attend the school there, that they could have that acre of land. A lot of them did.
And what did you do during that time frame when your community was?
Well, right at that time, where the big move was, I was living in West Tennessee for 6 months or something like that. I missed a little bit of it.
Yeah. Well, what do you remember of it?
Of the move?
Yeah. What was it like for your family and to have to leave their home?
Well, my family was already. One of my sisters was married. My brother was in college, and and another sister had moved to Indianapolis. So there was just my father and me, and we moved just outside of the area. It's close.
So that you could kind of keep the community together somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And the first Sunday of October, we always have our homecoming. And when the government let us back in there of course it was after the war and so on, let us back in there to have our homecoming. We had been having it different places. We had it part of the time at Harriman, because the church I went to bought a church in Harriman, and we'd have it down there. But the first homecoming, I understand that there was over 1,000 people there at that little church. Of course, they couldn't all get in.
Right. It turns.
Mm-hmm. And now our attendance it's fallen off a lot, because each year I have a memorial list to read of the ones that I know of.
Right.
But I'm sure that that's not near all of them, because they moved out of state, all the way from Washington State to California.
Yeah.
And I just don't hear about their families anymore.
Yeah.
But one year at the homecoming, we had pictures made, and that's very interesting to go back and see those pictures.
Did you do a comparison?
A little. But a lot of our younger generation is carrying on now. Many of our old ones are gone. We don't, and I'm the old one now.
Are there some stories that you remember from, since you're the secretary, and you hold these reunions, do you have any particular stories that you remember of some families?
Well, not really. I know we was, just real close families and friends. If you needed help, you didn't care to call for it.
It seems like such a different time from then to now. How would you describe the difference?
Traffic. Traffic and prices.
Right.
And discipline. We was disciplined. Our parents knew where we was all the time, and it's different today.
Yeah.
But we lived right on Bear Creek, or close to Bear Creek, where it circles around.
Oh, okay.
And it runs into East Fork on the place where we lived. And East Fork then runs into Poplar Creek. And we used to go back there, and there was a little knoll right just about where it ran together. There's a little knoll there, and we used to find Indian heads there. The Cherokee, yeah. There was a mound up at the back of our house in the woodland part. Our parents always told us to leave that alone. Don't you touch it. So we did. We didn't dig in it or anything.
Were there stories about what the mound was?
Well, they felt like that it was where they had buried a lot of their utensils, and I think they buried a lot of their cookware and things like that there. But it was a big territory that they was in anyhow. It came all on over to Dillis. And,
How big was it?
About? Oh, honey, I don't know. It's just, it came over from Sugar Grove Valley.
Okay.
And it was just a big territory till the whites went in,
Right.
which was sad.
Yeah, it does happen.
Well, we was sad to see our people move out,
Yeah.
but we also had 157 young men that went into the armed forces at that time,
So you lost a big
and
chunk.
there was 9 that didn't come back. They was killed.
So 9 didn't come back,
And-
but everybody else did.
And I had a classmate in one of them. It kind of hurts.
It's sad.
Yeah. But we've always just thought that the wheat community was tops and all. And you can look around in communities
Yeah.
and kind of see how they get along. Right now, I have neighbors on each side of the road that I don't even know their names. We knew people from 5 miles around. So it's different in that way. We're not as friendly as we used to be.
No, what do you think has changed so much that has changed the way people interact with each other?
I don't know whether it's busy jobs. I guess that's the most of it.
Mm.
But money, they have more money now to give their kids.
Yeah.
If we had 50 cents, that'd pay our way into the ball game. Quarter pay our way, and then we'd have a quarter to spend. Yeah,
So you guys-
we had big crowds at our ball games, and one thing that we had was our fire community. Wasn't community, is anyone that wanted to enter into the fire, and we'd have flower exhibits, and on the balcony of the school was needlework, quilting, and all kinds of needlework. And down on the floor there was the displays of all kinds of things that they grew, everything from tobacco down to cucumbers. We had the floor was always this filled with exhibits, and there'd be people come from everywhere to that little fair, and it lasts 3 days. And we had a fair barn that they bring their cattle and sheep and anything they had like that to bring in, goats.
They need livestock.
Mm-hmm. All kinds of livestock.
And they do kind of like they do at the fair now with the rabbits and their prize
Yeah,
hens.
right. And they gave prizes. They gave maybe quarters, 50 cents, whatever you had on display if it won.
And then,
We always liked the blue ribbon.
Yes, yes. And then did you do, was there like cooking contests and things like that, like pies and things like that at the fair?
Yes, they had food. Of course, I was young and I didn't take part in that.
What other things did they have there at the fair?
Well, they had on display eggs, even down to eggs. Well, they have those on display now at the fairs. It's about the same display that they have at the other fairs. Yeah.
It's just changed a little bit.
Yeah, it's more of it.
Right. More electronic things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
And then, are there some important dates that you can remember about things that had happened?
Well, like I said, the post office was about the first thing that, they had the seminary, and then they had the college, and they had a post office, but it wasn't organized as a post office. But the post office was established in 1881, and a gentleman by the name of Frank Wheat ran that post office, and that's who they honored this man by naming the community Wheat.
Oh.
And I thought that was an interesting thing for people, back then even, But then, of course, the Rome College was established, and they was active until 1908, and the school was doing so good that the Roane County Board of Education took it over to run it. So that's when we got the high school in 1908. But Roane College was there until 1916. And we can point out where it was and through pictures and everything.
Wonderful.
There was 3 superintendents beginning 1914, superintendents of Roane County Schools. They all graduated from the Wheat School. One stayed 38 years. Mr. Britton stayed 38 years. And then there was Mr. Williams, and he was there from 56 until 63. And then a Mr. Audubon Ladd was there from 1963 to 1966. And then Mr. Williams was called back, and he served until 1978. So we was right proud, and we've had noted doctors. Knoxville has, Dr. Ross Cross, he was a child specialist. He graduated there. And H.E. Christenberry, he was eye, ear, and nose doctor. And our people has spread out and done real well.
Sounds like think they made names for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, what was it like to have such a great, close-knit community and then disperse?
Well, when we first moved to the Dillis community, we still knew everyone. But the last few years, they've been people coming in, buying land and building. I live on Sugar Grove Valley Road, and it's a popular place. They like to. There's some beautiful lots there. If the people that owns the property would sell them.
Yeah.
But for a good while, I knew everybody that lived next to me. But these people's not been there very long. I visited them, but they've not been there very long.
Right. So.
I'm going to interrupt you and
Okay.
change things.
Okay.